Admitted to the hospital on Sunday and is expected to remain here at least until tomorrow. Now, this all happened during a routine checkup when doctors actually discovered that blood clot and immediately started treating her. Now, we understand that in order to stop the clot, she was given that medication, and now she's actually recovering. As you'll remember, back in early December, she was battling a stomach virus, fell over, got a concussion, and then she was being checked up after that. Since then, she's been out of the public spotlight, and this week after the new year, she was expected to go back to work in Washington, D.C., but now it's all sort of a wait and see as she recovers. But again, that blood clot between her skull and her brain, she's being treated with blood thinners and is expected to make a full recovery. That's the latest from outside New York Presbyterian. Stephanie Zofilis, Pix 11 News. Tamsin.
All right, Stephanie, thank you so much for that update from the hospital. Right now, joining me on the phone is Dr. Carrie Peterson, who's an internist at Lenox Hill Hospital. Dr. Peterson, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you. It's great to be here.
Hi. Can you talk to us a little bit about this? I mean, we've got this news of the blood clot and where it is situated right now. Can you talk to us a little bit about the progression of Secretary of State's, her health problems right now, from the stomach bug to the concussion to the blood clot?
Absolutely. Well, back in 1998, Secretary Clinton did sustain a blood clot behind the right knee. Now, that will predispose her to future clots. Okay. We also know that earlier this month, she had a stomach flu, she became severely dehydrated, and then fainted, sustaining a concussion. Now, with latest reports, she was on routine follow-up this past Sunday, found in an MRI to have a clot in the vein between the brain and the skull behind the right ear. It was reported that she is neurologically stable, that she did not have a stroke or any neurologic damage. Now, from a medical standpoint, a concussion can predispose somebody to a blood clot. So it is very likely that the injury that she sustained earlier this month is the cause of this current clot. Throughout the day, there was speculation that the clot may have been in her leg because she is on blood thinners. However, it has now very recently been reported that it is indeed between the brain and the skull behind the right ear.
All right, so it was originally behind her right knee. That was years ago. Now, where it's located between her brain and her skull, what does that mean in terms of risk? I mean, we've seen pictures of her daughter leaving the hospital visibly very upset. Is it possible the doctors are talking about surgery, or is this something you treat with blood thinners?
What it sounds like what she currently has is going to be treated solely with blood thinners. Okay. The good news is that it was only found on a routine MRI. That means that she did not have any neurologic symptoms prompting investigation. This was simply a routine MRI. That is an excellent prognostic sign because that tells us that neurologically she is stable and doing well. Now, according to her doctors, also, that confirms that she will recover likely without incidents, that she did not have a stroke, that she did not have neurologic damage. So what they will do is give her blood thinners, and she will remain on those blood thinners for a sustained period of time. Currently, she's being monitored in the hospital because blood thinners do require very particular levels in order to be effective. So that has to be followed very carefully. And it seems, according to her doctors, that she will recover without incidents and will make a full recovery without any neurologic problems.
I mean, that's obviously some very good news tonight. Let me ask you this. Part of her job is flying all over the world. She's been doing that for years now. Does that pose some risk with blood clots itself? Is it going to limit her ability at this point to do some traveling like that?
Well, that's a very good point. There's no question that when you travel, when you're sitting in an airplane for a long period of time, that does increase your likelihood for a clot, for anybody to have a clot. Now, the fact that she had one already is a second risk factor, so there's no question that any future travel will put her at risk. And the issue is, will she remain on blood thinners for the rest of her life, or will it simply be for the next few months? There is a good chance that this is her second clot, that she will now remain on blood thinners indefinitely. And we'll have to take precautions when traveling because it will now be necessary to stand up regularly on the plane, to do everything you can to stay mobile and to avoid sitting for long periods.
Okay, Dr. Peterson, thanks so much for joining us and filling us in on this, answering a lot of those questions. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on this situation throughout the rest of the night. Appreciate it.